You know, Venus is the goddess of what you wish to have come to you, what you wish to unite with, attract to yourself, what you desire. And she got together with Mars in February of 2024. And he's the guy that's going to help her bring the thing you want into your life because he's the actions and the decisions and the willpower to get that thing happening. And when they join together in February of 2024 in the sign of Aquarius, it takes 2 years in this case for this to be fully fleshed out. It's a seed of desire meets the actions and will to make it happen. And the purpose of this synodic cycle, the idea of it completes in January of 2026. That's a 2-year cycle to make something come true in your life. And we're coming into a beautiful trine that brings luck and fortuitousness and goodness to you between the cosmic lovers who planted that seed for you in Aquarius, bringing through the fire of Leo and the fire of Aries, the romance, the money, the objects of your desire to a more flowering, fruiting, and fortunate time. I would love to share with you so much about this because this is such a gorgeous, gorgeous trine, a fire trine between these two planets that plays out during when? Well, actually, you're already feeling it as early as the 15th, 16th of the month of May, finishing up around the 29th of May, but really exact on the 22nd. So let's dive into this extremely happy story. For me, when I get to deliver good news, I'm really pleased. We're in the last trine. We had an opening trine. This is the finishing trine. Trines are like the flowers are blossoming in your garden, and luck is there, and good things are starting to happen, things that you want to happen. When a trine is in effect, luck finds you. You don't find luck. Opportunity finds you. You don't go knocking on doors to find it. And you know, with Venus, she's always willing to give you what you desire. When we talk about your sign today, we're talking about what you desire in connection to the Leo sky where Mars is active, the Aries sky where Venus is sitting, and of course, the Aquarius sky, because that's where the seed was planted. You know, the next seed they're planting is going to be coming through in January of 26, and they're planting that seed in the sign of Capricorn. So this is a really big deal for not only Aquariuses, but all of the fixed signs that would be Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, because this is very impactful in your life. Of course, all signs are benefiting from this, but for those angular or fixed signs, it really has a lot of juice. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Lori Lothy, and I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac gold sign houses, and you know, a lot of fixed stars and minor asteroids. And today we're going to be also talking a bit about the Sabian symbols attached to this 16-degree Sabian symbol for Leo, 16 for Mars. Are very, very positive Sabian symbols. The actual degree of the perfect conjunction is around 1 degree short of that, 1 minute short of that. It's like 15 degrees and 59 minutes. But for Sabians, we always round up. So those are extremely auspicious. I'm so happy to share that with you as well. One thing I would say about this guy is that I don't think you can go wrong. I'm saying when it comes to love, money, pleasures, desires, passion, romance, creativity, your game is A+ on mid-May, really the 15th of May to the end of the month, with the epicenter, as I said, third week of May. Now, if you're new here, welcome. I want to also mention that if you want to subscribe and like and hit the notification bell, I really, really appreciate it. It does help my channel grow. I also want to tell you that I have my 2025 All Signs bundle on sale, $33 for 24 hours of video content, 2 hours for each sign, PDF guidebooks. And if you're all interested in being your own astrologer and timing your best life, in the third week of June, at 6 weeks, we're starting Sky Reader, the 6th time I've taught this course. It's a fun course. It's full of the basics of astrology, and then also how to use some of those basic understanding of your natal chart to make predictions and forecast your own best timeline. So check it out below in my description box. It's not open for enrollment. You'll have to get on the early bird discount wait list in order to have notice when I actually open the enrollment tuition cart. Shall we get started? I think we shall. Now, before I show you a screenshotable chart, so you can understand that this is a part of that larger synodic cycle between Mars and Venus, planting a seed of desire and longing and achieving and getting back in Aquarius in 2024, expiring, of course, February 24, expiring January of 26. And this is a flowering, fruiting a couple weeks ahead for that to become more true. Before I do that, I want to say there are a few asteroids involved, plus a star. Dub, the mother bear, the fierce protectorate, is sitting with Mars in the sky around that 15, 16 degree mark of the sign of Leo. But also we have the asteroids for Toro, which is to be a bold, exploring, aggressive, go-getter energy, Toro, like Toro, like the bull, as well as the asteroid for homecoming, homesickness, yearning for one's true home, Lele Kuhoana. I cannot say it properly. I apologize. It's Hawaiian, as well as we have another asteroid involved that's pretty evocative because Mars and Venus together are the cosmic lovers in a trine, especially some really sexy times are ahead. And Mars is with Valentine. And of course, we all know what the asteroid Valentine is about. It's about Cupid's arrow and expressing love and feeling romantic love. So this is definitely a sky that I would say is great for the romance. I'll be showing you the chart with these asteroids and the star in the chart in a minute. I love that for us all. It's an interesting time to see the also positive Sabian symbols involved. I cannot tell you how pleased I am. Sabian symbols are very eerily accurate. And what I've noticed is that they give you kind of a Zen koan vibe, like what does it really mean? So when we round up to Aries 16 degrees, which is where Venus is sitting in the Sabian land, brownies dancing in the setting sun. And the key word is the dance of life and invigoration. And we have words such as vitality, energy, strength, health, happiness, celebration. Yes, renewal, rejuvenation, the end and the beginning in one. So the portal of solar mysteries, vitality, strength, energy, rejuvenation. Yes, say please, yes. And then over where Mars is sitting at the Sabian symbol of 16 Leo, we have the Sabian symbol of, these are channeled symbols, sunshine just after the storm. I mean, come on, guys. Sunshine just after the storm with the invigoration, vitality, and all the goodness of where Venus is sitting. Keyword recovery, and some other words: recuperation, improvement, restoration, reestablishment, renewal, revival, rebirth, clearing, and health. Now, if it's about a relationship, there's a renewal, a reviving, a resurgence of goodness, vitality in that romantic story. But because Venus rules money and things we wish to possess and, things that we wish to have for the pleasures of life, these things in a lucky trine with these gorgeous Sabian symbols promise that mid-May through to the end of the month is extremely positive for all of those matters of real life. Now, it's interesting because I wanted to share something with you before I do the screenshot. And that's this. I happen to be wearing today, I've saved it for this video, these 3 bracelet stones from Otter Spirit, astrological jewelry with grade AAA precious stones. And I always order, they give you your wrist size. I order my wrist size usually. This one's a little bigger. I forgot to remind them of it. I'm usually have them tighter. This is astrologically sensitive jewelry. And this particular trio is made of red jasper. And it says, I am brave and I won't give up. It's good for Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, and Scorpio, and it's a sacral chakra. And the other stone in this trio is garnet, which I love garnet. I am passionate and I'm loving. You can't get better for Mars and Venus in fire signs. And we have confidence and love, and Leo, Cap, Aquarius, Libra, go for it, root chakra. And then the bloodstone, which is the red jewelry. And the bloodstone is, I'm a force to be reckoned with. There's Mars for you. Protection and strength, Aries, Scorpio, Cap, Leos, and the root chakra. So we have root, and root sacral here. And nothing better than root sacral when Venus and Mars are tangoing in the sky. And why I wanted to share this with you is because I am an affiliate, so to speak, but I really just love the jewelry. And they bring it in this little box. It's so pretty, guys. It's a great gift for your woman if you're a guy and she loves astrology. It comes in a really cute little a little cute pouch. Now, I don't get Like, honestly, this is not making me rich or anything. I know it sounds weird to say. It's just because I'm a jewelry lover with Venus and Taurus natally. And when I find stuff that has an astrological edge, I'm just excited. I like to love the stuff they do. And this is their website, Otter Spirit. They have a current Mother's Day special, but you can see you can shop by intention, like for strength, for prosperity, and you can shop by Zodiac. So Zodiac packs, and I go like say to the Aries packs, for example, and you'll see the Aries bracelet pack is what I think I'm wearing here, one of them. And you shop by your sign. And that's really cool, isn't it? So if you're into this kind of stuff like me and you like jewelry that has an astrological vibe, you like natural stones to ground you, I love Otter Spirit. Yikes. Now, if you're hearing banging and maybe sawing, and that was like something falling, I've got these guys working on the roof, and that's typical of Mars. They're doing a deck replacement. And I swear, like this is a Mars and Leo story, right? As I'm recording on May 13th. And every time I do any videos with Mars, there's always some kind of plumber, construction, banging, hammering. So you'll have to bear with me. There's not much I can do about it. Don't forget, it's like I'm not in charge of the universe. The universe is in charge of me. All right. So let's go ahead and take a screenshot quickly of this before we do all signs. For this video, I may briefly touch on some world events as it comes up to my imagination or mind, but I'd like you to really just benefit from this yourself by understanding how auspicious and positive this next 2 weeks is. If I give you advice, it's like lean into your desires, but lean into the desires you planted in your Aquarius sky. When I do your sign, I'll remind you of that because those desires were planted as a seed and now the flower is blossoming. So what you planted in January is blossoming now, January of 24. All right, so let me get you the picture of the screenshotable. Why am I giving you this? Because I'm a teaching astrologer and I always remind people that the sky is cyclical. These are synodic cycles. They rinse, they repeat, they rinse and repeat. And it's also to understand that no aspect, you hear astrologers like, oh no, Saturn squares Jupiter this week. Well, that's coming off the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction that happened way back when. So everything is about two planets meeting and then the relationship to each other as each one is moving through the heavens. And those pivot points in the synodic cycle define turning points about the planting of a seed in the past. So this is what we do in astrology. We understand the sky is a cyclical story, not a one-off. And that is where modern astrology versus, say, deeper dive astrology or, intelligent astrology goes differently. I hope I'm sharing this, but I believe I am. Would you like to take a screenshot? Go ahead. Just let me double check that I am in share mode. I am in share mode. Okay. What I'm sharing with you here, and I am in recording mode, is the cycle that we're currently in. As you notice, on February of 24, Venus and Mars joined in Aquarius around 22 degrees. So, of course, if you're Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, it means this cycle is extraordinarily important. In fact, eerily speaking, back in the January or February of 22, January, if I remember correctly, they also joined in Aquarius. So I'm an Aquarius rising, and that January of 2022 conjunction, add 2 years, brought me a new love relationship after 7 years alone. So that was the starting seed. And the last seed in black at the bottom ends on January 8th, 2026, when Venus and Mars join in Capricorn. So that will bring the Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra folk into major life changes about what they desire and what they can create by taking actions and making decisions and activating personal willpower to achieve that. That's Mars's value add. He also separates and pares away all that isn't necessary for your desire to materialize. So what you see in the red are the points of pivotal turns, squares, oppositions that are more intense. And I put an asterisk for August 23rd, Venus in Virgo, a sign of her fall, squaring Mars in Gemini. I believe that was during the DNC convention, by the way, in Chicago. Not too auspicious, was it, for the Democrats? I put an asterisk with Mars and Gemini because that was when Mars was actually making the square, not Venus, which is a very rare type of square, but it did indeed happen then. We'll notice that October 8th of 24, Venus and Scorpio was flowing in that trine to Mars. That was the opening trine. And you'll notice that that would have been ideally positive, except Venus and Scorpio is in a sign of her exile, and Mars is in a sign of his fall. So even though those two planets were working to bring something positive to all of us from the seed we planted in Aquarius, it might have felt like a failure to thrive. Like even though it wanted to be positive, it didn't give us that sense of yay, yippity doo-dah. For example, if I can try to use me as an example, just because I'm an Aquarius rising and I can talk about it really intensely. In February of 2024, in my current relationship, right? Because Venus and Mars are about love and in the sign of my ascendant sign. My partner and I were coming into our 2-year mark in the relationship, and we were starting to wonder about how to do our visas and how we're going to get this thing to roll properly. And we're in the beginning of that contemplation because he's from the United States. And if you look at August of 24, there was that fall in Venus and Mars and Gemini condition. And I don't remember what happened then. It should have been a pivotal turning point in our considerations of visas and stuff. I vaguely think I do remember we went on a vacation, a getaway vacation to reconnect because I was working so hard and to instill some romance into the life of our relationship. October the 8th of 2024, Venus fallen in Scorpio, Venus exiled in Scorpio and Mars fallen in Cancer. That was a very difficult time in my relationship. I was working extremely hard. I was burning out in the work I was doing. We were kind of walking around like roommates. There was some significant tension. A particular issue came up with a kind of a bit of a blowout. So there you go. Just being honest, right? Even though it was a trine, it failed to really produce positivity. December 12th of 2024, Venus in Aquarius was opposite Mars and Leo. Now, in December of 2024, this is literally tug of war between two planets. They're having different agendas. Venus is busy in Aquarius where the seed was planted, but Mars is busy in Leo with another agenda. So for an Aquarius rising, for like me, Mars is in the cutting, severing, ending condition. We parted ways. Well, my partner in December went back to the United States. So that opposition or tug of war, I'm giving you the arc of how this works for you to try to compare. It doesn't have to be about love. It could be money or anything you desire to unite with Venus and create. And Mars is either going to make it happen or cut it off. In January of 26 of 25, Venus was trining Mars in Cancer. Mars is still fallen. Venus is in Pisces exalted. And in January 26 of 2025, but no week before and after, we reunited. My partner and I, we got together for a weekend getaway. I flew to the United States. So you see how this works, right? April 6th, Venus in Pisces again, Mars trining Cancer again. That's because of Mars's long retrograde in Cancer. So Venus is in good condition. She is exalted. And so April 6th, I should have seen another positive development in the course of the relationship. I'd have to go back and think about it. I really would, but it may have been we were planning for our next flight path and who was going to see who where and how and when, something like that. Oh, was that when I went to Arizona? Oh, goodness gracious. I went to Arizona shortly around that time. And my brain is offline, but it could have been when I flew to Arizona. That's when we planned the trip because I did fly to Arizona and we reunited, and it's connected to around that time frame. Brain, it won't come back online, but I will be able to, if I look at my journal, to identify another notch in the relationship story. May 22nd, 2025. Now here's what's coming up. We're feeling it now. We're feeling it all the way from about the 15th of May to the 29th, but it hits its on the mark moment on May 22nd when Venus in Aries trines Mars and Leo. It's another trine in the storyline, but this time we've moved away from the water, which can be kind of, especially Pisces and Mars is fallen, kind of emotional, kind of sensitive, kind of uncertain because of Pisces being mutable, kind of foggy and unsure because of the Neptune intersection there back in January and April. So there's a kind of a being in the wishy-washy pond with money, love, desires, things you wish to accomplish that you planted back in 2024 February. And then July 23rd, all right, Venus will square from Gemini, Mars in Virgo. That's the last gasp. It's kind of testing the whole story. It could be your job, your money, your possessions, your creativity, your art. It's whatever these two were working on for you. I'll try to describe that with your sign. This can be a square that makes or breaks a situation in July of 2020. July 23rd to be precise. For example, I'm traveling in August and I'm also moving. I've moved, I will have moved, and my partner and I will separate by then because he's not going to do the traveling I am doing in August. Will it be a sayonara for good, or will it be a parting ways just until I'll see you next time? I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then January 8th of 26, the story is over. The seed that was planted in 24, I'm just using a love story as an example, will complete and a new cycle will begin in Capricorn. Okay? All right. So hopefully for some of you geeks out there, you enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and talk about your sign. We're going to start with Aries, and then we're going to roll into the next storyline, which will be Taurus, and we're going to keep on keeping on. So let's get going with Aries to start. And we'll talk about these asteroids as well. Before I even start talking about Aries, we'll talk about the asteroids involved here, just for your edification. First of all, this is the star Dub. Okay, Dubhe, Dub. It's a Mother Bear constellation. You know, the Big Dipper, Little Dipper. It's in the Dipper, the Big Dipper. It's the biggest star, the chief star, the brightest star of Ursa Major, the greater she-bear. And it's about deep primal archetypes of the great mother, the loving, protective, and nurturing, and sometimes raging mama. It can be about life force, vitality, self-confidence, what can lead to true empowerment. And I don't see why I don't see myself. Like normally there's a little me in the top corner when I'm doing this stuff, you know, and little me has gone away. Not that I need little me in my head there, but I'm wondering what happened to me. I don't know if I can fix it. I have no idea. I didn't hide my self view at all. Okay. You'll have to deal with what you're getting, guys. I can't fix it and don't know why it's doing that. I don't see me at all anymore. That's so freaking weird. My video is on. Yeah. It's just like my little head has disappeared. It's okay. So then we look at this Valentine. It needs no description, right? Valentine, Cupid's arrow, heartthrob, falling in love, infatuation, romantic affection. We see Valentine with Mars. So he wants to work with that energy and bring something forth for you because he's the action-taking, decision-making, and will-powered up guy that brings directionality and momentum to our lives. And we'll notice down here that Venus, who is in a condition of her detriment, I will give you that. She's with the asteroid for homecoming, and I cannot pronounce it, but I'm giving it my all. It's Lele, Lelea, Lelea, Ku, Ku, Honua. Lelea, Ku, Honua. And this particular celestial body might be a trans-Neptunian, but anyway, is a Hawaiian myth mentioned in the creation chants of Hawaiian myths, and has to do with migratory birds belonging to be near the earth and searching for their true home. And so it's about a homesickness, a yearning for what was, what one wants, where one wants to be, where your true place is in life. And, you know, when it comes to love, maybe you're yearning for that homecoming to true love, or when it's money, homecoming to true prosperity. And sometimes it's about migrating to where you need to be for that thing you want to happen. Toro, Toro, celestial body 1685, is the maiden name of the wife of the discoverer, Toro, I suppose. Flexing your muscles physically or psychologically, being competitive, being tough, doing the hard work, pushing to get what you want, but on the shadow side, charging blindly or losing your shit. But I'm going to say one thing about that, because it's in a trine, which is fortunate. It's more like the kind of push to get what you want, that kind of courageous energy of like the bull that gets what it wants. Okay. All right. So from that perspective, let's go ahead and let's talk about each separate sign. No idea why my own image has gone away. I have no idea what's going on with my software at all. I'm just looking, but I don't see anything I can change for you guys to see me when I'm talking. And you know what? This is such a simple sky. Maybe I don't need to actually spin the wheel in front of you. I know you guys love that, though. I know that those of you who are learning astrology prefer that I spin the wheel. So let's do that. Now, Remember, it's exact on the 22nd, but it's playing out mid-May. You'll feel it like as early as the 15th to the 29th. Looking for this positive, blessed story. Let's start with Aries. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Take a look at that. Started in Aquarius back in February of 2024, and closing out by January of 26. A new seed is being planted in your 11th house of friendships, groups of belonging, great career gains, the dreams and wishes you have becoming true. Your fairy godfather lives up there. It's where you really wish to amplify your deepest desires and bring them into real form in life, like success in your career, achievement, ambition, celebrity, rewards of life. Now, often our friendship circles are here too, and maybe you planted some seeds for new groups of belonging, new friendship circles, as well as more prosperity in a passionate, engaged way for your career itself. With that said, if you were a single person, you might have planted a seed for a new relationship, but you want to meet that person in connection to friends and social groups of belonging or something you're doing in your work. So that same seed was planted as well back in 2022 in the month of January. And I met the current partner through work. He was a client of mine. Isn't that funny? But also somebody I knew who I'd worked with for years. And yeah, let's not get into all the details, but it works, right? Now, when you look at the sky and you take about the mid-May to the end of the month storyline, epicenter the 22nd, you're going to notice that Venus in the sign of your sun, moon, or rising, sun, your career, moon, your home and home-based matters, rising sign, everything about you in the matrix. Well, the Venus is sitting here and you are Venus. You might be feeling more attractive, more congenial, more friendly, more in love with life, in love with yourself, more magnetic and charismatic to others. And as you're in this state of being, you're noticing that, and you're yearning for a homecoming to something that you want, and you're willing to charge forward like a bull to get it. You'll notice that it's aiming at the romantic house. Wow. So you're looking for some serious love. If you're in a relationship, Aries, it just means you want to up level. And if you're not, you want to find that partner. And if you begin a new relationship under this energy, you're going to begin a good relationship, a positive one, a keeper. Look at that. It's got a beautiful Valentine sitting with Mars in the house of falling in love, romantic love, sexual love. So single Aries are really blessed. But if you're not single, then it could reestablish more fun and pleasure and play and romantic connection with your current partner. Sometimes even with this kind of arrangement, Venus is a fertility goddess. Mars is in the house of pregnancy. There may be a conception in a romantic love story. If you were thinking of conceiving a child on the seed that you planted back in 2024 in February, maybe you might conceive a baby under this transit. So there you go. And if you're a creative, artistic, or entrepreneurial person, that's where Mars is traveling. He's got a lot of passion, ardor, and energy here. He's very competitive in the 5th house, and he's very entitled to winning in his leonine way. So you might find with the star dove, the fierce intensity of the protector mother bear, that you're going to go for something that you really want. Do you want to write a book, launch a project? Do you want to start a new entrepreneurial endeavor, or even go with more passion towards one that you've already established? This sky just smacks of goodness, and I don't think I can find anything negative. It even favors your existing children getting momentum and luck and success in their own life in something they desire and having it actualized. And particularly with your own children, it could be something positive happening in their life in relationship to their own romantic and long-term love stories, their own conception stories, or even conceivably their own professional success endeavors. All said and done, because the 5th house is a house of good fortune, it is a lucky house. You might just want to play a lottery ticket. I'm not saying you're going to win, but you win money in the 5th house, and Mars is the god of taking the actions in order to make it happen. He's full of passion and he's competitive, and all winnings in money are from competitive endeavors, whether you're at the whatever you call it, the roulette wheel in the casino, or you buy a lottery ticket. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not endorsing you gamble. If that's a problem for you, don't do it. Okay. And I want to say one last thing. You're yearning for something, because don't forget, you're in July around the 23rd. The thing you wanted to have happen, I showed you the screenshotable earlier of all the stages of this synodic cycle, is being tested July 23rd, one way or another. that entrepreneurial business, that creative project, that artistic endeavor, that romantic love story, that fertility and conception story is coming into the last testing cycle to know, is it going to be something you want to keep? Will it last? Or is it time to break away? But Mars and Venus are trying to work together here, and it's very, very fortunate. Let me know, Aries, how that plays out mid-May to the end of the month. Hey, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. How do you like this one? We have the beautiful energy of Venus and the yearning for homecoming and the bull Taureau to push through for what you want in your 12th house. Certainly, this is a good segment of the sky for having the strong power of will in order to break away from self-undoing, self-sabotage, bad habits, being your worst enemy, and addictions. And I do not know what to say about the yearning for migratory change. The bird is there, the homecoming energy of that Hawaiian asteroid, but because the 12th house is distant shores and far off places, and Mars is in the house of land, home, and property, you may be yearning to or desiring to move. Now, you planted a seed, move your home. You planted a seed in the 10th house of career back in 2024, February. And while this story is not just about your career, it cannot not be about that as well. So is it possible that you will have a move, maybe to a distant, far off shore, maybe even a foreign place, as a result of matters to do with career and home? Now, Mars rules your spouse, so perhaps the spouse's change of career matters could move your home as well. It doesn't have to be to a far off distant shore, but it can be to a new place. There's no doubt about it. One that Valentine says you will fall in love with. And Dub says it's worth your energy to be in the mother bear mode, and get that home that you really want. It can show you in the sky. It is time to, in a positive way, exit your home. Just like, well, time to go. It's time to leave. It's time to sayonara your home. And where you're going to go and what you're going to do could produce romantic love. If you're a single Taurus looking for love, I suggest leaving your home, changing your home, or traveling from your home. And it's not just mid-May to the end of the month. It's decisions you make then, because Mars rules decisions that could further down the road, particularly in July, lead to a new romantic story for you. If you're looking for love and you're single, you could meet somebody in this transit. Now, technically, Mars is in the place that's close to home, right? So maybe you're going to take out the garbage and meet somebody close to home. Venus is in the place of self-undoing, which can be prisons and hospitals and insane asylums. And possibly you're going to meet somebody because of some journeys you're making into those areas, maybe to visit a friend in a hospital, and you meet someone there. There's just something about, if you're looking for love, it could come through those areas of the sky. All right. Let me know what happens. I'd love to hear it. Ultimately, you planted a seed for a yearning and a desire for something you wish to experience in career and reputation. Right. That will then, Mars is trying to help make it happen. But Mars is pretty hard ass. And if he doesn't think it's going to work, he'll just say, forget it. Right. He'll cut, end, and sever. And I am looking now at Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. And Mars is moving with Valentine, the heartthrob, and falling in love in the third house of the local restaurants and pubs, short distance travel, and educational skills-based learning environments, like taking a real estate license course, look across the way and fall in love with another student. Who knows? But Mars says there's a bit of a heartthrob energy there, but it means also travel. And so through travel, you to your partner to you, or you're traveling, you might meet somebody. You don't have to travel mid-May to the end of the month, but you can make decisions and plan those trips as well. Venus is full of goodness in the 11th house of good spirit, where she's attempting her best to bring some kind of homesickness and yearning. And Venus is also very much about friends, particularly women in the 11th house, but socialized social groups and social belonging groups as well. And the gains from your career, the financial prosperity. She is a money goddess. And of course, the bull who wants you to charge forward to get what you want. In this case, if this is about making money in your career, it's extremely positive if you are an online social media person, which is the third house, Or if you're writing, and part of writing and making money and marketing and selling and teaching are a part of your story. Well, this is mid-May to the end of the month, a beautiful flow of luck and ease and grace in those areas of the sky. But remember, you planted a seed, and you planted a seed in the ninth house of Dharma, alignment with purpose, pilgrimages, higher education, legal matters, third marriage environments. I went on a pilgrimage because of this conjunction here on the El Camino. The conjunction happened in February of 24. I was on the Camino by May, there you go. And so now we're extending some new seed that is planted for desire and actions to get what you desire in that ninth house, which is about publications. And with this Mars down here, you should start writing. If you've been thinking of starting a book or starting a Substack place or writing somewhere and getting that writing published, then this is a good sky for the middle of the month of May to the end of the month to pull that off. And possibly for those of you looking for love, because of all the travel and the seed that was planted in the ninth, certainly finding new love through travel or love with a foreign person from a foreign shore is definitely on the menu for you. This girl is just going to go grab a bit of banana or something because I have a hunger attack hitting me, and we will continue the story. Okay, so bad up there, the banging. I don't know if you guys hear how bad it is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It helps my channel grow, and I hope this is something you guys are enjoying. I certainly like this kind of fun content. I didn't talk about world events here, but it's good for peace. Obviously, the goddess of peace in the sign of war, flowing to Mars. In the sign of Leo, which is Donald Trump's sign. I should have done the intro on it, but life. Next, I don't know why my little talking face is gone. Like, what happened to my talking face? Oh, I know what happened. I'm back. What's this button? That button? Okay, this button. Okay, I'm back. This is so cool. What happens if I click that? Oh, wait, go back to me. Okay. Got it. I think I would have figured this out by now. Really. I'm trying to share the chart and it's not here. It's like disappeared. Maybe I'm already sharing it. Nope. Okay, back to business, guys. I think I'm sharing. No, it says I'm not. Now I am. There we go. So, Geminis, I just finished with you, and we're moving into this wonderful flowing Venus, Mars, love up story. And we're going to talk about this as it goes into the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer, I would say to you this week, mid-May to the end of the month, with an epicenter on May 22nd. And don't forget, you planted the seed in the eighth house of chunky money, taxes, investment monies, shared monies with a spouse, or money from alimony, or money from inheritance, or money from business partnerships. Okay, you wanted to plant something new there in January of 2024 that is about what you desire and how you want to prosper, Venus, and what decisions and actions must happen in order to make it happen, Mars. And now we're looking at the sky and we see that Venus is at the top of the chart in your career house and that Mars is in the earnings house. These are Artha houses. They're about your resources, your financial wellness, your reputation, your career. Something about that is really calling to you mid-May through to the end of the month. I mean, seriously asking for your attention in order to activate the chunky money story that you've already been working on to improve it, basically. Now, one thing about this is that you might have a homecoming yearning going on here with the asteroid of the homecoming migratory bird. And you're yearning for this thing that you want to move in towards or migrate towards in your career. And Toro, the bull, the energy of the kind of going for it, being willing to charge forward to get what you want in your career. But also you're looking for the work of your career to bring you a real sort of turn on, like Valentine's, to feel in love with the work you're doing in order for this all to really work out for you. And certainly with the asteroid I mean, with the star dove, the mother bear, the protectorate, the fierce one, there's a lot going on that says you're really just trying to establish your terrain, your territory financially. Some of it may be about work. Some of it may be about your reputation financially in the eyes of the world. Some of it might be great this week. I mean, mid-May to the end of the month for raises, promotions, significant up levels in your job experience and your work experience, and it impacts your finances positively. One of the other elements going on in the story here is that because the seed was planted in the eighth house, which has to do with secret love, like back, hidden from the world, behind the scenes love. And we have a lot of career energy going on here. If you're single looking for love, of course, I'm going to say, yeah, sure. Mid-May to the end of the month, find that love in a work setting, by being in your work environment, by going to work, by doing the work you do, that love story could easily come into being. But on the other hand, if it's about secret love, because you planted that seed there, then this secret love is starting to blossom. And Venus is in the house of the most visible part of the sky. And there may be like a coming out party. There's a sense that mid-May till the end of the month, you're going to share with the world this secret love, the one that was like hidden from view. Who knows why? Somebody was getting a divorce. It wouldn't upset the mistress or the marriage partners, or you didn't think it was appropriate to share that you and your boss were having an affair, whatever. There's something about maybe coming out to the public with a relationship. They could be coming through for some of you if you've had that kind of relationship already existing. Otherwise, yeah, you can meet somebody new, and yet it would come through the public events that you're doing, or the work and colleague coworker space during this week ahead. And since she's planted the seed in the eighth house of it's not just secret love; it's that more vulnerable love, that more erotic, maybe kinky, tantric, energy. It's taking it out of the recreational into something more deep, so you might be looking for that deeper, more intense sexual and romantic connection with somebody. That the seed that you planted was, for that. And this could be a real fulfilling energy around your goal, around that kind of love story. Don't forget, Mars does rule your fifth house of true love. There is that. And so when he's here, true love comes through the work environment, the earnings environment, the career space. That's what it looks like, or fulfills itself in the public eye, because there's speaking here. Announcements are made. Mars is a good self-starter, and it's good for entrepreneurs to start their own business underneath this sky. And if you've been thinking about sort of putting out your shingle or getting incorporated, I love this sky for that, because eighth house would be about those stories as well, where the seed was planted in January. Hey, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. With Mars in your sign now, mid-April to mid-June, I think you're feeling feisty. You're probably all fired up, passionate, engaged, going for what you want, charging forward, etc. You might even be sometimes irritated with other people and don't suffer them gladly. And maybe some of you had some fevers and rashes or injuries even. But nonetheless, Mars is giving you a lot of energy. And Mars is in connection to the mother bear that protects her cubs, the fierce bear dove, the big star in the Big Dipper, and Valentine, which is that feeling of love, falling in love, connecting to infatuation. But you could be falling in love with something or someone, but also with yourself. There's a sense of, well, maybe you're your own best Valentine. No, the old Valentine's cards used to say, be my Valentine. Are you your own best Valentine? I would wonder that with this guy. I really would. Venus is in the ninth house. It's all about aligning with your deepest purpose in life, being on a meaningful path. However, if you were somebody who wanted to get into a university or win in a court case or succeed at in a third marriage environment and have that flow and go well, those third marriages could go well here. Those university applications could be successful. Those court cases may favor you. You might feel like a bull is charging up at the top of your sky. You're really on it when it comes to the idea that possibly you want to go off to a foreign journey, get a visa or travel, and you might be getting all of that willpower, action, and direction ready to do that mid-May to the end of the month. But because the seed was planted in February of 24 in completing in 2026 January in your seventh house, this is also about your audience, your marketplace, and your significant long-term love and romance. And we do have Pluto over there, but I simplified this. So maybe you planted a seed that you want a real love story with someone you can commit to, who lasts, that goes a distance. It's a monogamous, committed love story. And if you're single, then this is a beautiful flowering, and you may meet somebody under the sky mid-May to the end of the month by traveling to foreign lands and distant shores, or by being involved in an educational setting, particularly higher academic environments. So that's what I'm getting for you guys. Now, ultimately, because the ninth house is like kind of the spiritual house, the religion, the house of God, the temples, the devotion, the dedication, the spiritual observance, meditation. Some of that is here too. You might be moving towards something that really brings you joy and satisfaction and pleasure in a spiritual routine or a spiritual discipline, especially having the energy to charge ahead and meditate every day, and you're yearning for your homecoming to your own soul, and you're here trying to hear the voice of God and get the static off the telephone line. This could be really good for your spiritual journey and your spiritual deepening over the course of the next 2 weeks, mid-May to end of month. Don't forget, the seed was planted in the house of a significant other. And isn't your soul or God or goddess significant? Yes. So this has a nice spiritual vibe mid-May to the end of the month. Hey, Virgo, Venus is moving through your 8th house. Chunky money, anyone? Yes, everything from inheritance to spousal shared resources to your spouse's money increasing and benefiting you, or money from an inheritance. There's a bull of charging forward boldly with a yearning for some migratory homecoming and homesickness in the 8th house with Venus. At the same time, Mars is in the house of distant shores and far off lands. There's a strong possibility that you're yearning for a relocation to a distant shore or far off land. You never know. But the seed that was planted here back in February of 24 was in a house of health and work. And that's your 6th house. And pets, health, work. Now, it is a possibility, as strange as it sounds, with Venus in the house of death and that seed that was planted in the house of pets, that Venus is your desire and Mars is the actual, will and actions to get those desires met. That if you've been wanting a pet, thinking about having a pet, wanting to get a pet, this is going to be an obvious window in the mid-May to the end of the May for that to manifest. Especially if the pet comes from a distant shore, a far off land, is a rescue, charitable things at 12th house. Okay. And maybe if the pet has passed away that you had before, you might also be feeling like that your pet is coming back to you and reincarnating, so to speak, and coming back to you within the next 2 weeks. When we get away from the animals and the pets and we go into other narratives, Valentine is, one's infatuation, falling in love, and Mars is actions and power and passion. And honestly, if you're single and you're looking for love, you might meet it because you're going to travel, but you could also start a secret love relationship under this because that's where Venus is sitting. And the solitude and the bed pleasures of the 12th house as well. There's definitely some bed pleasures going on here. If you want to explore kink or tantra, red tantra, that's in here as well to go deeper. Or a secret love relationship, or a very solitudinous bed pleasures window of mid-May to the end of the month, where there's a lot of hanky-panky going on, but for some reason, most people don't know it. You're keeping things under wraps. If you want to improve your health, because the seed for Venus and Mars was planted in the 6th house, it's things you do that you love in your alone time that can be a very active health improvement focus for you. Venus is in a deep spiritual karmic house. And so the 12th house is past lives. If you meet a new love under the sky, you've met somebody that is extremely connected at a karmic level to you. For new relationships beginning under the sky, there's a lot of deep soul energy between you and this new person. And because Mars is the ruler of your travel, shorter distance travel house, and Venus rules your long distance travel house, there's something about you and travel. You could travel for romantic reasons with your existing love person, or you could be meeting somebody in the love range of life because you are traveling. think I'm having a hot flash. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. I like the sky though. Whoo, don't forget to like, subscribe, especially if you're in the live premiere. It helps the channel grow. So I'm living in a building where the person below me must crank the heat to 90. I've got the windows open. It doesn't matter. This is ridiculous. They weren't living here last year. So this is my first year having them underneath me. I swear all my heat is off and I'm sweltering. Libra. Now, somebody said to me, the Libra, that they always get ripped off. And I looked at the timestamps for Libra over 3 videos, and they're not shorter than most others. But I want to explain something to all of you. When I'm doing videos, I'm focusing on what's happening. Like, this is a very simple story, Mars and Venus, right? Everyone's going to get roughly the same time. But say I'm talking about some stories and you've got like an eclipse in your sign, plus Pluto and this and that. The more shit you got going on in your sign, the longer time I'm going to spend talking about you. So Libra, you have gotten so much long talk when the South Node eclipses were in your sign compared to now there's no eclipses there. So when people do that kind of thing where they complain that they're getting ripped off, come on, guys, I'm giving you what you need to know. I could babble for like 10 minutes if you like, but all I need to give you is what you need to know. All right, blah. Libra, let's go really long for you today. You have Mars with the falling in love Valentine and the fierce mama bear dub in your 11th house of desire, comma. What do you want? What do you desire in your life? Do you want to be rich, famous, especially when it comes to career, gains of your career up here? Your friendship groups and circles are here. Your long range goals are here. And, you know, the heart is literally Valentine. What do you love? What do you want to love in that part of your life? And what will you charge forward to get? Venus is with the bull. Toro energy. She's like, the asteroid, I'll go with it. Let's push. When push comes to shove, I'm charging forward with determination and boldness. And the energy of the migratory yearning for some homecoming, feeling homesick. Are you yearning to come home to a long-term love relationship? Venus in the 7th house. That's possible for single Libras. You might not even acknowledge your yearning because Venus is very tomboy and she might be even very, shielded from what she desires in Aries. But are you looking for some longer term love or a way of feeling more connected to the love story that you already have? And that could be something that's coming up for you in mid-May to the end of the month. Yet at the same time, because 11th house is career gains and 7th house is contractual agreements and legal agreements, this looks like you could sign on the dotted line for a new or business partnership or career endeavor or career success story. That's possible. You see, Mars rules your house of earnings. And so in the house of career gains, there can be a beautiful lucky break in your career that increases your financial wellness and requires you to kind of agree or contractually agree to something. When Venus is also here, she's, quite capable as the ruler of your chunky money house of giving you a sign-on bonus or a severance package or something like that, a chunk of money that looks really good on you as well. For existing love relationships, there's something about really moving into more of a alignment with that person and you about what you both desire in the relationship, what your partner wants to see happen. You see, you're ruled by Venus and she's over there in the house of the other. And this can be a challenge where you don't know what you actually want. You're only listening to what your partner wants. So there's a lot about the sky that says for your long-term love partner that you already have, this is the time for the two of you to really exchange desires, what you want to see happen in the relationship and what you want this relationship to actually be or become. And I would apply the same thing to any business partnerships as well. And if you do want to say, oh, I'm going to change my job, you're right, Lori, then you might fall in love with something to do with the actual, work that you're going to do. If you're single, though, hey, you might meet some love stories in a client audience marketplace or co-workers and colleagues setting. And single Libras doing the work you do in your work, you might meet someone and fall in love through the work story of your life, through the work. And if you have clients, you could fall in love with a client. A client could get a crush on you, an audience member, if you're social media oriented, and that kind of thing. You planted the seed in the house of true love. Remember that. This was a planted seed back in 2024 in the month of February, and it expires in January of 26. To plant a Venus Mars seed here is either to conceive a child through the actions you're taking, or to conceive a baby business, or to conceive a baby art project, but it also is to conceive true love, true, heartfelt, passionate, romantic love. So for those single Libras, the seed was planted. You got till the end of this year to actualize it. And there will be a July 23rd square, last closing square. So look for some connections to seeding new love in your life, or fertility for those of you who are in a baby making age with you or your partner. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Let me take a sip of my water. I think I should get kombucha, actually, but it is a story for you Scorpios where Mars is your ruler. And we have a beautiful trine here. I would like you to go watch the beginning of this video for you, especially because of the synodic cycle I shared. But with Mars in the 10th house, you might want to change your career. You might want to quit your job. You might want to passionately pursue some ambition or achievement or goal in the workspace, career space, with your heart fully invested in it. Where Venus in the house of work says, I want to at least enjoy the work I do. There's a yearning for enjoyment in the work, passion and drive and ambition, meeting success. And you might find mid-May to the end of the month, you get to see a lot of that come true. And Taurus is charging forward with great power, bold courage, and strength next to Venus. However, single Scorpios, slam dunk, meet your love partner, fall in love with the boss, fall in love with a coworker, love in the workplace, pitter patter, pitter patter. If you are dating somebody, because Venus is in a dating house, and this energy between I'm just dating this person is definitely going to pick up in the eyes of the public, and you'll be seen more in your coupledom, Brad and Angelina zone. This can really move an existing light relationship towards more passionate commitment and goodness in the public eye about, yeah, no, this is my person. We are together. If it's about work, because you planted the seed in the 4th house let's go back to that. Back in February 24, you had a conjunction of Venus and Mars in the 4th house of home, property, land, and real estate. 6th house is rental properties, okay? There's a possibility that you might want to or may experience mid-May to the end of May as some situation to do with land and property and home, and possibly change, because maybe a job change changes your home. Maybe a rental opportunity comes into being. Maybe a pet opportunity as well. You really wanted to get together with actions and desires, meet prosperity and enjoyment in and about and from the home with a seed you planted. Venus ruling the house of your significant other may have been a joint desire to plant that seed in that part of your life. And because Mars rules you and you're the Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, especially rising, he's going to do his best at the top of the sky to bring something good. And at the very simple Artha 10 house, 6 house level, a job raise, a promotion, an advancement, a better office space, a chance to work more from home. These are stories that may emerge for you. Don't forget, July 23rd is the last closing square of an expiring story. So look for major critical turning points there regarding themes of what seeds you planted to do with home, property, and real estate back then. Hey, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Venus is in the house of her joy. She is very powerful in the 5th house in the ancient tradition. And she's with the yearning for some homecoming, a migratory energy, desire, and homesickness to find your true place of belonging. The bull is charging with courage in the 5th house. Certainly, there may be a yearning and homesickness for a romantic love story in your life, especially obviously if you're single, or if you're with a partner and you're in a relationship, a return to more of the romantic and sexual parts of the relationship, and a yearning to see that happen as well. And this mid-May to the end of the month, you'll notice that Mars being also involved in the 9th house could indicate romantic travel, especially if you're going to travel abroad with a romantic partner. If you're single, of course, you can meet somebody from a foreign culture and foreign land, or because you're traveling to those places. Mars is very passionate, and he's in his true Valentine heart, and he's fierce with the mother bear up there. And because he's got all of this yay him energy up in the top of the sky, it's possible that you guys are fighting for something like legally or a visa status or a travel thing that you really are pushing to make happen. And Venus is giving you in her joy the luck in the house of good fortune for that to manifest as desired. I certainly wouldn't be too afraid of buying a lottery ticket if it connects to ninth house storylines, a charity, a draw for some kind of humanitarian cause or something like that. Mars does rule the house of hospitals. So if you ever heard of hospital lotteries, we have them in Canada. That would be a super swell way to win some money off of this, because Venus is in the house of winning money, money, luck, good fortune. So yeah, there is that too. Because you planted the seed back in February of 2024, in your third house, there is something going on here to do with travel. Maybe you planted a seed that you wish to travel or move to a new neighborhood or to go on a pilgrimage. Mars is in the house of pilgrimages. I have a Sag friend who just is doing the El Camino, and he's single. Slam dunk for meeting someone by traveling the El Camino and bumping to someone on the road. So you planted seeds for love because I'm traveling, love because I'm learning, or love because I'm in a dating mode on social media apps. All of those are possible for the seed that was planted here. And this flowering energy by far is the most positive part of the story. Yeah, July 23rd, there's a square. We'll cover that when we get there. That will test a relationship. It's really good for you, Sagittarius, to meet somebody under the sky in an educational, learning, teaching, or traveling setting. And it could bring in a very beautiful relationship where you feel like you've come home to yourself. Venus is also quite capable here of helping you start something creative or artistic or entrepreneurial that has international reach. If that makes sense to you, go for it. And that's true for the last 2 weeks of May. Hey, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Well, first of all, let's talk about the seed you planted first, right? In Aquarius, because that's a money house and Venus is a money goddess. So the money goddess Venus with Mars, ambition, drive, and decisions and actions, the desire and the guy who might get your desire realized, we're holding hands in your second house. All right, February 22nd, 2024. There's definitely a seed for new financial well-being that was planted here. And as a seed was planted in that second house of earnings, money, and resources, you'll notice that now we've come into the time in which Venus has set her ass in your fourth house of home, property, land, and real estate. Well, Mars is traveling through your house of mortgages, bank loans, and lending and escrows and stuff like that, or inheritances. So a few thoughts. You could get money from a sibling. You can get money from someone you grew up with. You can get money from a parent or grandparent. Yeah, coming through the sky anytime in the next 2 weeks, mid-May to the end of May. But because you got the migratory bird with Venus, you might be wanting to move, to migrate with courage and passion and, daring, I guess, the bull Toro. You want to move, maybe, to migrate to a place of belonging, that you're homesick for a sense of home and belonging. Yeah, you've got the chironic wound in Aries since 2019. And Mars is trying to make it happen through a house of money. Now, money in the eighth house, a stock investment, inheritances, shared resources with a spouse or partner. Mars is a ruler of your house of good spirit, which can be kind of a windfalls or pennies from heaven may show up in your life mid-May to the end of the month to support you being able to say buy or purchase a home or afford to move to a new home and possess that new home. If you are looking for love, then you may have love close to home, love, in your neighborhood, really close to home, really, like just take the garbage out, walk down the street and you meet somebody. Or you might have an energetic here with Mars in the eighth house, kind of a secret love could happen, a hidden from the world love for singletons looking for love, hopefully not cheating on your spouse, but, you be you, you do you. But secret love can blossom under the sky because Mars is with Valentine. Now, Venus owns a house of sexual romantic love, and Mars is in the house of deeper sexual intimacy and the tantric and all of that. And there may be a very spicy and intense in the home, from the home, encouraging of the sky to fortify an existing relationship with more juice. But don't forget, the main seed that's trying to develop is all about your earnings, monies, possessions, and resources, self-love and self-worth. Finally, Venus is the ruler of your 10th house. And there could be, in this kind of a sky, some kind of move of your home connected to work and career opportunity that wants to show you the way between mid-May to the end of the month. So let me know if that is true when it happens. Aquarius, I told my story in the beginning of the synodic cycle that you could screenshot about how to look at the sky. So go back and get that vibe. I'm an Aquarius rising. You can listen for sun, moon, and rising, of course. You planted a seed was planted in you. What do you yearn for and want and desire to attract to yourself when it comes to love, money, beauty, creativity? That Mars says, I'll try to find the way to get it to you because I'll take actions, decisions, and momentum in passionate movement forward to get that for you, Venus. Although he says, I will cut, separate, and end things that get in the way of that coming true. So that seed was planted in Aquarius sun, your career, moon, your home-based needs, and ascendant, anything about your life in February of 24. This is the flowering of a trine that's been, the last trine, closing trine that says, let's blossom this energy. Let's make something happen from the house of long-term committed romantic love, 7, with Valentine's pitter-patter, infatuation, Cupid's arrow, falling in love, fierce mother bear of protection with that in the star, and connecting to travel. Venus is in a travel house with the homesickness and the migratory birds of the Hawaiian asteroid and the charging bull Taureau. So I wonder if you're looking at something to do with romantic travel, mid-May to the end of the month, because this looks like you could do a romantic getaway trip of some sort. Or a romantic partner travels to see you, for example. In my case, that will be true. At the end of May, my partner is coming to see me from the United States. But also could still travel locally with that person, but with Venus ruling the far off foreign shores as well, long distance travel in a romantic love, in committed love, whether you're traveling to your partner to you, or you're traveling together, that looks like a story in the second half of May. When you see the energy of the third house, you also see the energy of social media. When you see the 7th, you see them public in the marketplace and the audience. This is a glow up in the social media sphere for any of you who are marketing, selling, writing, or teaching, and you reach out with those things into an audience and marketplace. For Mars is the ruler of the 10th house of career and reputation in the house of the audience, and he's got a big heart there. You might get a sweet glow up with your audience and marketplace, and you might even attract a new partnership in business regarding your work and career, especially if you're doing writing, teaching, selling, marketing, and more especially if you're in the online world. Venus is in the house of neighborhood and neighbors. Now, some of you know I am moving. I have a new home. My place is being sold by my landlady. So that could be the preparing to nest into a new neighborhood and a positive feeling, like the yearning to find one's true home and that one's true neighborhood sort of sticks the landing kind of thing. I'm kind of in a different neighborhood, by the way. It's really sort of the same, but it's got a different name, I believe. Your sibling, one younger than you, belongs to the third house, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Maybe some agreements, some partnerships, some positive developments in their life or with those people in your life over the course of mid-May to the end of the month could definitely show up for you as well. Of course, if you're single, you meet someone for traveling or in the social media sphere, that would work as well. That would work very well. Don't be afraid of dating apps either. Venus here in the house of dating apps could say, by being brave enough to go on a dating app, Aquarius, you might meet a long-term, positive, committed love story that feels like a homecoming full of Cupid's arrow. Now, Pisces, never last, never least, best and always best. It is a seed planting by the cosmic lovers in Aquarius, way the hell back in February of 2024. Can you remember then? Because you planted a seed to create something that you desire in the 12th house. 12th house, many things: spiritual moksha, liberation from the wheel of reincarnation, understanding your soul, understanding the past lives you've had, connecting to alone time that's creative and profitable, finding a seed that you planted there for better health and wellness, maybe a seed you planted for revenue generated from foreign marketplaces and foreign shores. That was distant and foreign shores. That was something you planted back in February of 24. And this is still playing out. This is a big flowering time for what that seed was. In the house of money and earnings, Venus, the money goddess, with the bull of charging forward and the yearning for one's homecoming, all tied up with the second house of earnings, possessions, and resources, flowing to the Arthur house of work with passion and your heart fully in it, like a fierce mama bear. It looks like some of you are coming into mid-May to the end of the month into a bit of a work charade where you're working hard, things are happening, you're excited. You know, Mars rules your ninth house. It could be publications, teaching. It could be those things as well. And Venus rules your third house, definitely hitting the social media market as well, and marketing and selling. Looks like you're going to glow up financially and work-wise mid-May to the end of the month. Certainly, if you're looking for a job, taking the interview, applying, this is golden lucky opportunities to prosper through those directions. Also, if you're looking for love and you're single, obviously with Mars and Valentine in the house of work, you're going to get a very strong indication that you might be meeting a romantic partner in the work environment. And that would be positive because this is a trine and it doesn't look seedy at all. You could meet a very beautiful person and really fall for that person. Are they for you in this kind of a chart? I see no downside to that kind of love with this trine, really. I mean, sure, Venus is in exile, but still, she's got good stuff to say about being in the second house. This is a really good sky for changing your dietary styles, especially because you planted a seed in self-undoing 12th house. So do you eat the wrong foods? Do you drink the wrong beverages? Do you smoke the wrong substances? You know, Venus is saying, like, we're going to work on this with bold courage, like a bull, and we're yearning for, homesick for wellness. Mars is in the house of your sickness, so he wants to make you well. So a new dietary style or a new exercise habit, both of those are true, can really show up for you mid-May and bring you great blessings and great success in your health as you turn something around because you change your food style completely. Now, I'm going to laugh because Toro like a bull might mean it's time to eat some red meat. Sometimes the sky is stupidly literal, and the migratory birds could be get yourself some fowl, eat some duck or something. So you really have something going on here about food style because the migratory birds and the Toro are animals in the house of what you eat. So if you thought you could get by on being a vegetarian, maybe double think that for yourself. Some of you, our constitutions are different. Your Ayurveda, know your type, Pitta, Vata, Kapha. Maybe you're not suited, your blood type, the A's are the best vegetarians, but the B's need their meat and so do the O's. And so really assess your food style, especially if you made some kind of weird raw vegan vegetarian commitment. You might be really having to reassess that, Pisces, in this kind of a sky, because it opens up doors for better health through better food style and exercise habits as well. So there you go. Mars in the sixth house is like, what are we going to do? We're going to lift weights. We're going to go to hot yoga, that kind of stuff. Well, you do have Jupiter in the fourth house, which means children in the home is still there. And Mars is in the house of pets and Venus is spending. So if you're a Pisces who want a pet, have been thinking of getting an animal in your home, this is a gorgeous sky mid-May to the end of the month in order to get that animal. So let me know if a pet comes to you or you go to a pet. Okay, I am so toast. I'm recording this on Tuesday, May 13th. This is for my Patreon community. They get this early access ad free. And then you guys get it 2 days later. Quite often they get stuff a week ahead, even a long time ahead. I am like I am having a day. So the banging up, above my head. I don't know if you guys know what it's like when you're autistic spectrum disorder, which I am, neurodivergent. If they're hammering, I'm okay. But when they're sawing, I'm not. And there was a lot of sawing, like up there. And I don't know what it is about the sawing sound, but you can bang a hammer above my head all day long. But if you saw something, it just like, I just feel like I'm going to go out of my skin. That's why I touch my hair. I'm regulating because all of you don't, some of you know, I've already told you guys this, but sometimes people get so gnarly, you're touching your hair, you're fidgeting. Yeah, I can't stand lights, fluorescent lights. I can't stand any overhead light. I put all table lamps and candles in my house. I can't stand certain fabrics. I can't stand touching fabric with my hands. I can't stand my fingers being dry. I've got all of these like strange habits that I recognize later on where, well, autistic spectrum, ASD, late diagnosis, high functioning. And I was considering something, this is just babbling, but Canadian election, I've been pondering our Canadian election. I was pondering Pierre Poilievre, whose daughter is a non-speaking, non-verbal 6-year-old, and that's clearly autism, and they've hinted at that. And I thought about how a lot of women didn't like him because he had squinty eyes or he had a lot of slogans, I think he's autistic, and women are more high functioning and adaptable. But the conservative guy running, Pierre Poilievre, who got 25 more seats and really expanded the party and appealed to younger people and people looking for affordability and affordable housing and less taxes, et cetera, and conservative values, tough on crime. I think that he's trying hard to be a normie, and I don't think he is. And I think that's sad because I think I don't vote on my person. I had a woman tell me, "Oh, I like this guy. I voted for him because I saw him on a TV show." And yeah, I really liked him. Like it. And I've had other women, like the boomer women, are the ones who voted the liberals back in, and they just voted on like the fear of Trump, and so did the boomer men. And like probably afraid of their wives if they didn't, I don't know. And, Trump is you can't, we had economic issues that need to be addressed that are underlying everything well before Trump tariffs. Anyway, the whole point is that I wanted to say, just like Elon Musk is definitely autistic, so is Pierre Poilievre. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that because I've been thinking about it for a while. And I know I am high functioning, sort of, high masking, but boy, oh boy, I'm so geeky that if I go out to dinner with friends and they bring up a topic and I know they're wrong, like they say something about the war in the Middle East and it's completely not factual, it's not an appropriate dinner conversation with people, especially in a social setting in a restaurant. And because I'm so geeky, because I'm so neurodivergent, I'll just launch right in like the history, the timetable, the facts, my resources, my footnotes, and people are like, it's like, holy shite. So, and I always would alienate people all of my life because I had such a nerdy, geeky, combative, debative quality about me. And now I realize, okay, well, those are my traits from being me. Any other neurodivergents out there know what I'm talking about? And do we hate small talk? We can't stand it. I hate it. I can barely get through it. All right. Ciao, ciao.